a JTV joint.
For the culture, by the culture, to the culture. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 8 of School Snora. Yeah, buddy, and I am your principal host, Jay Jeezy, and I make this podcasting thing, man, look so easy. God damn it. It's always a pleasure to be right in front of you. Shout out to you for tuning in, man. Let's jump to it. But in fact, gear one, not like to call it gearbox. Let's go! Right, cool, man. What's been happening, man? I think we're just fresh off the red carpet. I mean, it was the Oscars, man. The Oscars took place, this past week, and it was, drama upon drama. Every time when the Oscar awards take place, there's always gonna be drama. There's gonna be like, he should have won instead of him, she should have won instead of her, they robbed him of this and that. So we're gonna be checking out the Oscars, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, ladies and gentlemen. Michael B. Jordan becomes the 6th black actor to win the Best Actor Award at the Oscars. I mean, come on, man. This is the 98th Oscars, bro. That means this thing has been in existence for 98 years. And in 98 years, only 6 black actors were able to win the Best Actor category. I mean, that means there must be 6 movies that were ever made in the history of Hollywood. Because of, how unfair could it possibly be, man? So shout out to Michael B. Jordan. I mean, the first person to win an Oscar was Sidney Poitier in the 1960s, bro. In the 1960s. And when Michael B. Jordan won, I just thought of Eddie Murphy when he was talking about Sidney Poitier, and he's like, yo, Sidney Poitier, like, that guy really had to act. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here's the clip, right?
Yeah, it was a whole different show business back then, and Sidney Poitier was the only one in the movies. And we had no black makeup artists and no black producers and writers and directors. We got all that now. Back then, if you watch those old movies, that's why you watch a Sidney Poitier movie, and his hair is not combed. But we didn't even know that. That's how good an actor he was. He just acted like his hair was combed.
That guy acted like his hair was combed. Like, how crazy is that? It just goes to show, like, you have to work, like, extra hard to be actually recognized for an Oscar award, if you are a black person, The second person to win the Oscar, then it becomes Denzel Washington, I think. Years after, bro. This is like years after he wins with Training Day. He gives an impeccable performance, but that's not his only performance that should have got him an Oscar. He done, parts like Malcolm X, he got to win by Training Day. Like, all right, okay. My nigga, like, he had to drop the N-word. Like, he had to tell Hollywood, like, King Kong ain't got shit on me. I run shit here, you just visiting, you know what I mean? And, he got an Oscar award, and strictly after that, it was Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx becomes the 3rd actor to win an Oscar award, by portraying the legendary Ray Charles. Like, he had to learn the blues. The boy got it. Can you play the blues?
Memory gets tougher. Come on, man. It's right under your fingers. Come on, man.
Just eight bars,
But Jamie, instead of wilting, saying, I had enough of this, I'm not going to be here walking, he just kept working it, and he got it.
Yeah! I think the boy got it.
He had to, learn how to play the blues, even though he could play piano, but he had to, learn how to play the blues, to really, like, embody the whole of Ray Charles, from the piano to the music, to the sound, to the physical characterization, vocal characterization, and then Only after that, there was like, okay, cool, Mr. Fox. Fourth person to win, it becomes Idi Amin. The guy had to come all the way back to the motherland. He had to come back to Africa, bro. He had to come back to Africa so that he can win an Oscar award when he portrayed the legendary Idi Amin. Nicholas, yo. Forrest Whitaker also killed on, The Last King of Scotland. So like you have to like really give in like crazy amount of performances for you to become like, an Oscar contender, the fifth person to win an Oscar was Will Smith, and Will Smith had to slap Chris Rock to win an Oscar. That's how crazy it is, And there's a noticeable trend. I saw this clip while I was, scrolling through the socials, and it makes so much sense. Check this guy out, and then we'll get back to it.
You watch enough black Oscar-winning movies back to back and you notice a trend. There's one or two ways for the most part that black people win Oscars, and that is for either depicting black trauma or playing a slave. And I mean a slavey slave too. Like you can't be like, yeah, like this ain't your first day on the plantation. You got to be like a vet in the slave game, dog. You play a vet slave, you getting an Oscar, or at least a nod. And I don't like that shit, man, because it's like, yo, we can do other stuff too. This ain't the only way we can get an Oscar. I'll be watching all these movies. Morgan Freeman, he had to drive that white lady around. Fucking Halle Berry had to fuck ugly ass Billy Bob Thornton. Why? She's a queen. Why she had to fuck this crackhead man? The guy from 12 Years a Slave, whatever his name is, he was, a slave for 12 years. You know what I'm saying?
Right? It's crazy business. You know what I mean? You have to be like, you can't be the first nigga on the plantation. Like, you have to be like deep in the slavery game. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be like Django. You have, 12 Years a Slave. 12 Years a Slave. It won the awards that it won, and it was recognized by the Academy because of, it was a slave movie, basically, Lupita Nyong'o. And not to say like slavery is not important, you cannot talk about slavery, we should be making movies about slavery, but then, dude, black people can do comedy, can do romance, can do horror, can do all these other, genres, and they also, I feel like they should be recognized for that, Michael B. Jordan, he had to like play two characters to get like one Oscar, bro. That's how crazy it is. He had to play like two people, to get one accolade. And then just referring back to the clip also, you know what I mean? It's like, why Halle Berry had to like, fuck that crackhead for her to like, get an Oscar, And people were like, Tiana Taylor also got nominated for an Oscar because of she was fucking white guys on the movie. It's like, she's, flirting with, not even flirting, like she's, busy with Sean Penn's character, Lockjaw. Lockjaw, that was a funny character though. Yeah. It's like, this is the first guy to have a bone at gunpoint, I think Sean Penn gave an impeccable performance. But, people, they like, Tiana Taylor, basically, she got, an Oscar recognition because of her character was like fucking with Sean Penn and Leonardo DiCaprio, And speaking about DiCaprio, didn't get an Oscar. Obviously, Michael B. Jordan won the Oscar. Shout out to black people, but also DiCaprio also delivered on his part. You know what I mean? He did a stellar performance. But the person who actually won, I think the battle was between Sinners and One Battle After Another. And One Battle After Another had like two contenders for the best supporting actor, two people from the same picture within the same category. That was, crazy, Benicio was playing, Sansei on One Battle After Next. He was nominated as well, but Sean Penn won the award, you know what I mean? And when he won the award, crazy enough, Delroy Lindo, he really thought he was going to win, the best supporting actor. Look at this,
And the Oscar goes to Sean Penn, One Battle After Another.
You can, everybody knows in the Oscars, like, you're gonna be in that black box when they announce, you know what I mean? So I don't know, you don't wanna be a sour loser in history, like, you know, the way he's just looking at the awards like, oh, you motherfuckers, I knew you were gonna give it to another one, you know, like the way he's even, you know, his attitude, like, you know, even like, you know what I mean? That because everybody else is clapping, you know, and I feel like, yo, he felt cheated, you know. But then Sean Penn won the award and he was not even there at the ceremony, you know what I mean? He is one of the 4 actors, you know, in the history of Oscars to have like 3 Oscar awards, you know. He has an Oscar from Mystic River, he has an Oscar from Milk, now he has an Oscar, but this one is for a supporting role, but then nonetheless he still have like 3 Oscars, right? Which makes him one of the 4 people to have an Oscar award. You know, the 3 other people, it's, you know, the legendary Daniel Day-Lewis, the Butcher, nigga. You know what I mean? Crazy that he didn't win for the Butcher, you know. But then he also have like 3 Academy Awards, and also Jack Nicholson, you know, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. What are we doing? What's your name, son? He also has like, you know, 3 Oscar awards, you know. Still on the Oscars, right? I think what was also interesting was the best director category, right? So Ryan Coogler was also nominated, you know what I mean? Shout out to Ryan Coogler, you know. Sinners did really well, you know what I mean? Sinners did really well, but you know, Paul Thomas Anderson won, you know, he won Best Director, you know?
And the Oscar goes to One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson.
This is the second Oscar win tonight and 14th nomination for Paul Thomas Anderson.
And crazy enough, another interesting fact was that, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson becomes the 3rd director to win their first Oscar after collaborating with Leonardo DiCaprio. Despite them like being nominated for Oscars before, but then this is the first time they actually win the Best Director award. You know, the 2 other directors is James Cameron with Titanic, and also the legendary Martin Scorsese, you know. His first Oscar was with The Departed, you know, and The Departed came out like in the 2000s. This guy's been making movies since the 70s, you know what I mean? Raging Bull, Mean Street, Taxi Driver, they all didn't mean squat up until he collaborated with Leo DiCaprio. So I don't know, maybe Leo's got that, you know, that Drake effect, you know. Who can I say that? Drake before the beef. You know that whole thing like, yo, you need a Drake feature for you to like, you know, be, you know, like. So I'm just thinking, like, do you need like a Leo feature for you to become like an Oscar contender, right? So it was quite interesting. You know, shout out Ryan Coogler. He won like Best Original Screenplay. You know, all in all, they walked away with 4 awards. You know, they walked away with Best Actor, Best Cinematography, Best Original Score, and you know, Best Original Screenplay. So shout out to Sinners, shout out to One Battle After Next because they eventually walked away with the biggest award of the night, which was the Best Picture, you know. So they also took Best Picture, which was like, yeah, man, One Battle After Next. I watched the whole picture. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Benicio and DiCaprio's characters. I feel like they had such nice chemistry, and you know, it just goes to show, you know, you just get finer with time when it comes to performing for screen, you know, and acting, you know. And yeah, man, still sticking on the awards.
I've been in the industry for more than 45 years, and I've seen all the goods and the bads of the industry. But today, I'd like to say these are the fruits of hanging in there and not going out to go and look for jobs somewhere else. Even if the industry was dry, but we were there. We stood firm and told ourselves that one day it will happen. And here it is. It's happening.
Shout out to the local Academy Awards. They also took place, the South African Television and Film Awards, and some of the winners, they include A Kind of Madness, all right? Christian Olvachen and Vessels Pretorius, they win Best Achievement in Script Writing. Ian Gabriel wins Best Achievement in Directing for Death of a Whistleblower. Best Supporting Actor in a Feature Film goes to Niels van Jasveld for Snake. Best Supporting Actress in a Feature Film, it goes to Joan van Meeg for the movie The Quicksilvers. Wait for The Quicksilvers. And the Best Actor in a Feature Film goes to Ian Roberts, also for A Kind of Madness. Best Actress in a Feature Film, it goes to Sandra Prinsloo for A Kind of Madness. What's going on, black people? So black people, you guys are not making movies as the SAFTAs, also as white as the Oscars. I would say maybe with the Oscars, the black people are in the minority in America, but then in South Africa, black people are in the majority, so they should be in this thing. So what's going on, as the film industry fair, what's going on? No black people? Okay, let me look in deeper. Going into TV dramas, Love, Law, and Betrayal. Best Achievement in Script Writing goes to Electrolo, Lwazimvuso, Dorette Nell, Chisanga Kabinga, and Oratile Mukhoje. And Best Achievement in Directing, a TV drama, Catch Me a Killer, goes to Rene van Rooyen and Brett Michael Inch. And Best Supporting Actor in a TV drama also goes to Catch Me a Killer, Jabulani Mthembu. And Best Supporting Actress in a TV drama is Michelle Botes. Twistcoms. Shout out to Michelle Botes. R.I.P. man, she was such an incredible thespian, Best Achievement in Script Writing, TV soapy, it goes to Sud Oster, yes. Yes, Peter Francois Retief Scholz. Best Achievement in Directing, TV soap, it goes to Scandal. And the people in the directing team include Sitembiso Matenjwa, Anthony Coleman, Pilasande Malungas, Pamandla Ngobo, Christo Davids, and Mamohato Askew. And Best Supporting Actor in a TV soap still goes to Scandal, the Tronolofatso, the Tlakanye. Shout out to your young kid, man. That young kid is cool, man. Shout out to him, man. I pray he does not become like, a typical child TV star, Pray that, he blossoms, Best Supporting Actress in a TV soap goes to Skim Sam. Vele Mananje goes to Vele Mananje. She's cool, man. Best Achievement in Script Writing, TV Comedy, it goes to the show Magda Low. Desiree Gardner, she is the script writer. And Best Achievement in Directing a TV Comedy also goes to Magda Low, Johan Nell. And Best Supporting Actor in a TV Comedy, it goes to Toby Kronje on the show Pronk Premiere. Yeah, Best Supporting Actress in a TV Comedy, Shoiki Mula for How to Ruin Love, Season 1. And Best Achievement in Script Writing, telenovela, Inimba, her tongues wagging, people really liked Inimba, Supposed Tutapu, Christian Adams, such as Anne Stiggs, Nombulelo, Megwera, Kanyi Sajali, Vanisha Kirsten, Sinatemba Keleku, Mpolokeng, Hope Bukhatsu, and Sibusiso Kumalo. They are the Best Achievement in Script Writing, the telenovela, that's the whole team. Youngings wins Best Achievement in Directing, telenovela, and Tabitau, shout out to Tabitau, man. Temale Tumfebe and Sandile Mhluli. Best Actor in a TV Comedy, Hans van Veek for Magda Low, Season 2. Best Actor in a TV Drama, Frank Opperman for Nederlands Noordkap Deel 2. Magda Low, Season 2 wins the Best Actress in a TV Comedy, goes to Desiree Gardner. And best TV in a TV drama goes to Gail Mabalani on Unseen. Best actress in a TV soap goes to Londeka Londeka she. 4. Scandal. Scandal came through with a couple of awards, yeah. And Death of a Whistleblower wins Best Feature Film. And Best TV Comedy is The Morning After. And Best TV Drama is Reika. And Best TV Soap is Scandal. Best Telenovela Youngins, Taser Pictures. And Best Actor in a TV Soap, it's Aubrey Paul. And Best Supporting Actor in a Telenovela, Taser Pictures, it's Anele Matoti for his portrayal on Kabere, The Empire. Best Supporting Actress in a Telenovela, Zenande Fenyani. On Inimba, Nelisi Usibia wins Best Actress in a Telenovela for Itonga. Bongo Koza to win Best Actor for his portrayal on Itonga. So speaking about Bongo Koza, he's part of a show that is going to be playing at the Joburg Theatre, directed by James Ngobo. So the script is written by Mfundi Vundla, who was also had his, rounds on the media. I think is also promoting the show, So as he was, I think he wanted to speak about the show, but there's always the elephant in the room, because if you know Generations, that Generations didn't have a legacy. It was only Generations, and for it to be the legacy is because of Generation 16, was let go. So I think for the longest time I've never had his point of view in terms of what happened and going forward and everything. With his, I would say, silence or him not being that vocal about the whole issue, I felt like, man, there's such an arrogant executive producer, just fire talent like that, this, that, and the other, and became part of the generation that boycotted Generations. Pass. Alright, so yeah, generally I think just stopped following the whole thing. I was like, okay, cool, because I think I felt emotional about it, more than anything. I think I was still on my way to study to become an actor, so I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way this executive producer can treat actors like this, and I always felt some type of way, when it comes to Generations, I was like, nah, man, I'm not gonna watch this show again, So now, as he's doing his media rounds, now I saw his interview on 702, and then I saw his other interview on 947 where he was addressing the whole issue, like, yo, these people left this, that, and the other. And then he started to explain, right? So here's his explanation so that we can, make this make sense.
Suddenly, August 2014, the actors we hear are fired. But before that, they're on strike.
I'm shooting a scene with Mfundi Vundla, and right in the middle of the scene, Tato walks into the scene. I mean, the scene is being shot. This guy is an actor. He just walks into the scene.
Is this Tato Mulamu?
Yeah. He just walks in, whispers something in Menzi's ear. Menzi drops everything and walks out. It becomes clear that the issue is they're not happy with the fact that they're not getting royalties. And my response is that, look, that's a legitimate issue, of course, but there's no line item in my budget which says royalties for actors. Royalties are paid by the broadcaster. Number one, I don't own the show. It's owned by the broadcaster. I have a contract. I have to deliver. And them being on strike puts me in breach of contract. So I said, I'm not going to be in breach. So you get out of here. I created a show which I was extremely proud of. It's my dream. And I said, nobody's going to mess my dream. So Nengani, I'm told. I was the highest paying television show. And I was the only television show led by a black person. And they didn't go after the actors didn't go after those white production houses, which were paying them much less than I was. But they came after me. Why is it that they came after me? Because I'm black?
So then after listening to Mfundi Vundla, right, I'm like, okay, cool. What's that phrasing? The hunter will always be glorified up until the lion learns how to ride. To an extent, right? I was like, okay, cool. Emotion aside, it's just 12, 13 years later, like, let me just look at this situation for what it is, right? I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, okay, cool. As a businessman, he's gonna be in breach of contract, so he have to, honor his contract, right? That's one fold of the conversation. He has to honor his contract with his employer, the client, which is the SABC. But then I think at the same time, he's not honoring his contract with his employees, who is the Generation 16. But he says, no, the issue is royalties. So if the issue is royalties, I don't own the show. Right? So if I don't own the show, that means I'm not responsible for royalties. So royalties, you have to go get them at the SABC. Alright? And I'm like, okay, cool. In a way, it made sense, because as far as I remember about the whole thing was like, okay, is this thing about the royalties? Okay, cool. If the show is being resold, we want a stake in there. And he says like, yo, I don't own the show. That means if the show is resold, it's not him who's reselling it. It's not MMSV, right? It's the SABC who's reselling the show, and they are capitalizing on that. So that means if they want royalties, they have to go to the SABC. Besides, he was the highest paying production in the game. And then when he said, why did these people come for me and they didn't come for the white people that also own production companies and that are paying them way less? Was it because he's black? And it made me think about the whole Ferguson Films thing, like, ooh, the whole story of, Vati Zandara, the whole conversation, like, Ferguson Films this, Ferguson Films there, like, everybody's just like, just a couple of people, not everybody, just a couple of people just bashing on Ferguson Films. Like, okay, cool. Is it because of, it's Connie Black as well? It's like, it's Connie Ferguson Black, that's why, she's being attacked as well. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just look at this thing from a production company's point of view in relation to the SABC, and then how they relate with their employees, which are the actors. And then Zolisa Kaluva was like, nah, bro. Zolisa Kaluva went in and rebattled, and here's what he said.
When somebody comes onto the show and serves a narrative and puts out a narrative that suits their story, and nobody rebuts it or gives themselves an opportunity to speak on it, then that narrative becomes truth.
What was it about what Mfundi Vundla said that felt like a misrepresentation?
The issue of royalties. We had a twofold conversation, a twofold fight. So our legal counsel looked into the contract and said, okay, there are issues here that pertain to Murula Pictures, and then there are issues that pertain to the SABC. So when he says that we wanted royalties from him, that is a total misrepresentation of the truth. Yes. There was an existing clause in the contract that says a percentage of what is earned by the show, whether it's through advertising or selling it overseas or however they generate income, that percentage belongs to the 16 of us.
Yes.
We were looking to us to say to them, could you please pay us that amount? And also, how do you calculate that amount? What should we be expecting? The conversation was not about let us get royalties.
So this
we already had royalties.
So this isn't a conversation where you're hoping for something that doesn't exist. It's something you're saying is in black and white, and you guys weren't paid for
and
that thing.
There is a part that says you are entitled to a certain percentage when the show is being sold. So you're not asking for a pie in the sky.
Because I resent the idea of Mr. Mulamu being vilified unnecessarily. So on this day of the ultimatum, we all walk into studio. The 14 of us. 2 people are in studio. It's Menzi Ngubane, it's Nambita Mbumlwana.
Doing a scene.
They're blocking it. 14 of us walk in during the blocking of the scene. Tato Mulamu just so happened to be the closest person to Andre, who's the floor manager, not Menzi. He didn't whisper anything to Menzi. Menzi was in a faraway distance from where Tato was. Tato just happened to be standing next to Andre, who asked, guys, what's going on? Because he's the floor manager. I think Mr. Vundla obviously was told the story. He wasn't there. The 16 of us were there. Menzi Ngubane, bless his soul. He says, I won't forget this.
What did he say?
He says, guys, can I just finish this scene?
Of course he said that. That's so Menzi.
And the idea of vilifying Tato is unfair. Give us 5 of your top priority issues and
on
then go
this
back
contract.
So 10 months later, only one thing was covered, the general working conditions.
Yeah.
There were two other things that we said we wanted, which was the salaries that we asked for. Number two was the 3-year contract that was promised to us by the SABC.
The original Generation 16 were in an actual contractual conversation with the SABC prior us walking off. We were not fired. We did what? We walked off.
We left the show.
We were never fired.
But here's why they were happy to let us go. If they had given us what they owed us, because you must remember Mubang was on standby watching. Isdingo was watching, Siebendelan is watching, and any other show that is contracted by the SABC. They are standing by watching to see how this is going to play out. Somebody then went to Claudia and said, listen, what you are trying to do is very noble, because Claudia was trying to give us what we want. If you give these guys this, then everybody's going to have to receive. That's how the SABC reached the decision that they should actually let us go, because we've already left anyway, to send a message to anybody who wishes to stand up.
Now, Zolisa says, like, do this, like, 5 things that they demanded. Like, it's like, okay, here's our top 5 things that we want, and only one thing was covered at the time, right? He also does say that the 3-year contract that was promised by the SABC was not provided to them, and also that added to them working off set, and they didn't get fired. They walked off, right? And remember what Mfundi says, like, yo, if I don't deliver, I'm gonna be in breach of contract. And this contract, the 3-year contract, are promised by the SABC, not by Morila Pictures, right? So it becomes, muddy for me. And then, Zolis explains it's like we had a twofold conversation. So one, Morula Pictures didn't honor their full weight on the contract. And 2, the SABC didn't now honor their weight on the contract as well. You know what I mean? So for them to walk off is because of, Morula Pictures failed them, and also the SABC failed them. Crazy enough, right? Most of the Generation 16, if not all of them, they've never worked at the SABC since they walked off. And shout out to Zoli, so the way he defended Tato Mulam, it's like, yo, we were in a fault, basing Boomba, I don't want him getting vilified and, blackballed, because, it's a small industry, if you get blackballed, then it's child for you, and they know it better, having gone against Morula Pictures, So, 13 years later, we still have a man with no surname, I think it's still topical. For me, it hits home because of, in all honesty, generations is no longer generations that we knew, when, like what people would say on social media, like when 8 o'clock was still 8 o'clock, and basically meaning like even the numbers are showing, besides the streaming platforms and, the changes in the game and all of these things, but then, like, bro, 8 o'clock was 8 o'clock. 8 million people were tuned into this thing. You know what I mean? Now it's around 4 million. And, it's the legacy. There's a lot that has changed, Pray that, and I think they fought for like the 10-hour waking shift. Like some of the better waking conditions, better salaries. Hopefully the legacy then they get to enjoy like what Generation 16 fought for, Because ultimately I think one person has to cross so that the next person can walk, and eventually the people who get in later, they can fly. So yeah, man, I still have like mixed feelings about this whole thing of Generation 16 and like, what Mfundi Vundla has said, and what Zulisa Kaluva also had said, because in all honesty, nothing was the same up until since Generation 16 was cancelled, right? Generation 16, they walked off, and then they clarified like, yo, we walked off. Yeah, they knew their worth and they decided to walk off, man. Yeah, shout out to the Generation 16, most of them are still doing amazing things like Zenande Fenya, and after 19 years in the game, she won her first SAFTA award, A lot of them, blossomed after Generation 16. I mean, they were cream de la cream, man. They were like some of the best actors currently, they were like the biggest and the best, most experienced. I think, they, like, as Zico and I say, like, we didn't want the pie from the sky. We actually wanted something that we knew existed. Pay me what I'm worth. So yeah, man, it is what it is. You speak out to get blackballed. So for Zolisa to come through and fix the narratives, like, yo, this is what you guys believe, but this is the truth. So from the SABC to the ANC, right? So the ANC pulled out a stand the other day. They're like one loaf, one family, and they talked about how important it is, for you to get a loaf of bread. And they did say, it's gonna go a long way. And I'm like, you are the ruling government, you are the ruling party, and you're gonna give us bread. So yeah, I guess if you vote for the ANC, you are guaranteed a loaf of bread. So register to vote so that we can stop living below the bread line. Because of the ANC, man, we are all breadwinners. So yeah, there was a guy on my Facebook. He did say like, just voting for the ANC should just be considered treason. Like, obviously the ANC takes pride in like people living on social grants, half of the population, if not more, they're on social grants, you know what I mean? There's the 350 relief fund, there's like social grants, for the elderly and all of these things. So they will take pride in that, you know what I mean? And that's their like voting campaign mechanism, right? Like, yo, we've given you so much, right? So we are here for you. And I saw this video at Rocco Mama's, right? Yo, bro, this video like broke my heart, bro. Like, look at this. The youth, my dude, like, the people that should be, contributing, positively to the economy, the people that should be, taking care of their families, you know what I mean? And, there's just so many unemployed people, bruh. Like, Joe, just look at those people. It's like, Joe, the Idols audition, bro. It's like an Idols audition because of this, just like the youth. And then they're looking for a Rocco Mama job, though. They're looking for a Rocco Mama job, you know what I mean? And then the ANC would say this, right?
I've never had a government looking for a job for me. Never. The difference is that today, because there's a progressive government, people expect that government to go and give them jobs. They don't look for jobs.
Nobody's looking for a job, you know what I mean? Basically, we are not looking for jobs, What do you mean we're just chilling? You look at Rocco Mamas, But like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Pleading, if as we are going into like the local elections, like, let's do something, let's. They say they gave you a vote because of the news. It's not going to change anything. But then in our democracy, let's register to vote so that you can vote in a better government. Come on, it's crazy, people. I mean, speaking about the ANC, I saw this clip. Like, the ANC and the SABC, they're like, birds of the same feather. You know what I mean? Clement Manyatel, I think you all know Clement Manyatel. He has a show on the SABC. It's called Face the Nation. And I feel like the SABC should face the nation for this. Like, how could you? How? They suspend. I think they canceled his show, right? Because of they received political pressure from the ANC because of Clement Manyatel was asking tough questions. Like, just take a listen at this. Like, what?
The SABC has responded to media reports alleging that its decision to discontinue the current affairs program, Face the Nation, hosted by broadcaster Clement Manyatel, was based on political pressure allegedly exerted by the ANC and government, who are said to have been unhappy with Manyatel's tough questioning approach.
Right, so the SABC has a twofold answer, like, they're investigating themselves, which is like, super crazy to me, like, right, so on one fold is like, okay, cool, here's what we said.
The current affairs program, Face the Nation, hosted by broadcaster Clement Manyatel, was based on political pressure allegedly exerted by the ANC and government, who are said to have been unhappy with Manyatel's tough questioning approach.
All right, and they're like, this is what we should have said.
In a statement, the broadcaster says the decision was an editorial one, taken independently and based purely on a combination of the program's poor performance, cost considerations, and broader strategic priorities.
I get, God damn, I got that, bro, I'm not a journalist, I'm not, you know what I mean, like, I'm not an editor, anything like that, you know what I mean? I've never done damage control or PR or anything like that, like releasing statements, but then you can't tell me, like, here's why we can the show, but then they give you another reason, like, here's why we need you to think, here's why we can the show. Like, so now, like, it's too late. It's too late for you to, like, give me a reason, like, yo, the cost to produce the show, the ratings, this and that. That's what you should have said. You can't start with, like, yo, the show is being cancelled because of this political pressure from the ANC and government, allegedly. Like, you know what I mean? How can you... You are the SABC, and then you say the SABC allegedly said... Like, you know, Tula Tizo Similani, like, you know, he's a serious oak, you know. I listen to him on SAFM, so, like, you know, because even as me, like, I would laugh, like, you know, the SABC said, like, when I'm reading the autocue, I would laugh, man. There's no way. You can't say you guys are saying that you are allegedly, we are allegedly taking the show off air because of we are receiving pressure from the political party and the government, you know. And then you continue to give in a PR answer. Like, why didn't you just start with that PR answer? What's going on? Like, who's typing this on the queue? There's a busy need to face the nation. Gang is bad. Okay, cool. From sad news, from more sad news. Fans of Doja Cat were out in Pretoria, Sunbet Arena. Doja Cat was there with our global citizen. So they brought her out there. You know, it was a ball. It was a, you know, so the audience chanting her name there, in an African name. I forgot the name that they were chanting because of her father calls her by Zandile. So I don't know if they're saying Zandile, Zandile. But yeah, man, her father, Crocodile, you know, he pulled up to the venue and apparently he was not allowed to see his daughter perform, you know, and he took it to social media, you know.
Been told by management that Zandi I mustn't come and see the show. They're kicking me out of the place. They're saying you are not allowed to come and see your daughter. Funny enough, I've spoken to her to come to the show.
And I don't know what you guys, you know, think, because, you know, from Doja's POV, apparently she wrote into Kayatanga, like back in the day, through YouTube, like, yo, I'm trying to connect with my father. This, that, and the other, and I can't get hold of him, and then now she's like a big superstar, and then now apparently the Pops wants to come back, so, you know, so we don't know what it is, but then, you know, it was, you know, sad to see, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I'm not the one to say, ha ha ha, look at you now, who do you think you are now, you know? So, but then, yeah, it was crazy, man. So it was a sad thing to see, man. All right, cool, man. On more exciting news. Shout out to hip hop. You know, hip hop one time. Shout out to hip hop one time. I saw Dalez and Max have a show. It's called Dalez and Max Show. And, you know, shout out to the OGs. The OGs don't give a fuck, man. They just went Joe and Jada on us. Like, you know, even from the logo, they like, you know what I mean? Joe and Jada, we're just gonna say that Les and Mags. Yo, Les, you light skin, you're gonna be Joey Cracking. Mags, dark skin, you're gonna be Joey Jada Keys. Basically it's the Locks and it's Terror Squad. It's the Locks, it's Kids Gang, and Terror Squad is, you know, Josie. So, you know, but, you know, on the more serious note, shout out to the OGs, you know, it just goes to show, like, you know, finally hip-hop is moving towards a safer space where there's, like, you know, more communication, there's, like, you know, more publications. Even Muzi, Mapena was on Speedster show, and it's like, okay, cool, now we have more people talking about hip-hop than actually people doing hip-hop. It's like, okay, cool, at least we have commentators of the culture now. As we are moving forward, we will be having, like, more music, and, like, you know, it's time for us to unite, you know what I mean? So, yeah, shout out to the OGs, man. Shout out to the OGs. Kids Gang, I mean, if there's anyone, it has to be these two OGs. I mean, they're zebras, bro. They and their stripes, man. I mean, like, Les had that fire, you know, from back in 06, you know what I mean? So, what you know, he's been on his tippy toes. He's been on his tippy toes longer than your motherfucker's been alive, you know what I mean? He's in heaven and he came back, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, man, I think the podcast is gonna have some real stuff because of they got some knowledge and the experience. They've actually walked the journey and they know what it's like to be a South African hip hop star. So I think they want to have like amazing episodes and conversations. Check out their first episode as well. So it's crazy, it's nice because of you have Speed Stars. He has a show Up to Speed. The OGs are pulling up with Dalez and Mark's show, and I don't know where's a lot of the joints. I don't know where's the lot of the entire. I feel like he's the missing piece. His podcast was also growing in a very nice trajectory. So I don't know what's going on with a lot of the everything. Zinga. I think he should come back and chop it some more. Before the choppers leave, because of the more of the hip hop podcast we have, the better it is for the culture. The culture needs to be heard. We need a platform where we can dissect and talk about the culture. A space where we can belong. Just knowing like if we are on, if there's back to the city and there's all of these things we know like hip hop, is taken care of. Yeah, man, with that being said, that brings us to the end of today's episode. And I'm going to leave you with a question, man. What's today's mathematics? Yo, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jay Cheesy. This has been School Snort Out. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Yo, on Spotify, on YouTube, you choose or you lose. Come on now, let's do this. Hashtag School Snort Out. It's Jay Cheesy. Follow me across all social media platforms. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm doing all of these things, man. At Jay Cheesy, so where you at? Yo, my name is Jay Cheesy. Till the next time, I say we gone.
God sent me to do this shit.
It's Jay Cheesy on the pod. It's Jay Cheesy on the pod. It's Jay Cheesy on the pod. Giving you the latest drops, current affairs, latest trends. Go tell your friends. Cheesy is behind the mic. Tell this other cats to take a hike. On Spo and YouTube, you choose. If not, you lose.